Hello, and welcome to the podcast Unclassed. I'm your host, Andrew Vigil, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Um, I wanted to start a podcast to start a conversation about what's happening in education today. Um, I've been in the classroom for 23 years now. Started as a substitute teacher and a classroom teacher all across the state of New Mexico and at a detention center in Colorado Springs. And through the years, I've just seen a dramatic change, a dramatic shift in what's happening in the classroom, what's happening with uh, the students, the kids, um, and things that are just coming into the classroom that we don't have control over. Um, I started teaching when cell phones didn't exist, and now um, we're in a place where social media and technology rule the day. And so I chose the title Unclassed because that encompasses how my students are feeling right now. I teach high school English in Albuquerque, and speaking with my students and seeing what they write and how they talk about things, they don't really feel a sense of belonging. In a day where social media and technology brings everyone around the globe together more, it's also caused a lot of isolation. And you see that all throughout the school day. Again, when I started teaching, students would interact with each other in the hallway, interact with their teachers, and now everyone is just kind of has their head down in the palm of their hand, um, looking, watching, listening to their device. So, unclassed to me, just kind of again, it just encompasses how students are feeling now. It just basically a raw definition is just not really belonging to a class, not really fitting in. So the name of my podcast is called Unclassed, to kind of let my listeners know how a lot of the students are feeling these days. Um, Again, the inspiration for this podcast is just to get people to listen, to contribute, to talk about some of the hot topics that are happening inside the classroom. Um, you know, the change that happened after COVID was monumental. When you in New Mexico, our kids were home for a year and a half, and they spent a year and a half locked up in their homes for the most part on their devices. And when they came back, they were different in a lot of ways that I'll discuss in future podcasts. So again, the inspiration is just to get a platform together for people to just kind of diagnose what's going on and try to figure out a way to navigate what's happening with our kids in the schools. Um, I'm gonna put out a podcast every Wednesday, and the last Friday of every month, I am going to put out a little more of a raw version of this podcast. It's called the Friday Huddle, where I'm a little more vulnerable. I share some stories, different um, things that took place in my classroom or things that I heard that kind of just it's just a little more raw, a little more real, just so people can see what our kids are actually going through. And then the first Monday of every month is going to be motivational Mondays, where it's geared a little bit more towards educators, where I can hopefully put some tools in your hands. We can kind of equip those that are involved in the educational process and to help the kids thrive in a classroom where they're trying to figure out who they are and what their main purpose of being there is. Um, so this is just a quick little introduction as to what I'm going to be putting out very soon. Again, why an educational podcast? especially for those that don't have kids. Well, you might be an aunt, an uncle, grandparent, a guardian. You may just want to know what's happening in our school classrooms, regardless of whether you have a student or not, because you probably play some sort of role in someone's life. And when you are enlightened to what's happening in our schools, hopefully that can help you build a connection with someone that is going to school. I just wanted to thank you once again for just taking a quick moment to listen to this trailer. I'm really excited about starting this podcast. I want to bring in people all over the country, all over the world. I want to know if what's happening in New Mexico is what's happening in LA and Boston and overseas. I want to figure out how we can help today's youth thrive, like I said, in a day where we're all a little bit lost, especially when technology is advancing the way it is. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Unclassed _ podcast. Again, that's Unclassed, UNCLASSED, Unclassed _ podcast. You can find me on social media. I will be posting short videos there. And I just wanted to say thank you again for just spending a little bit of time with me. Time is our most valuable resource, and I don't take that for granted. So again, this is Andrew Vigil welcoming you to the show Unclassed, and I can't wait to spend time with you. Thank you.